What's up, Brazil? This is Adrian Quesada from Black Pumas, and you were listening to 89 FM, the Radio Rock.
Fala galera, beleza? Eu sou o Wendell Correia e hoje eu vou conversar com o Adrian Quesada, guitarrista e fundador da banda Black Pumas, uma das bandas do momento, foram indicados ao Grammy, tocaram no Grammy e é uma das atrações do Lollapalooza. Eles tocam no domingo, Lollapalooza que acontece nos dias 25, 26 e 27 de março no Autódromo de Interlagos em São Paulo. A 89 vai estar lá, é a rádio oficial do Lollapalooza. Vou conversar com ele sobre Black Pumas, sobre Brasil, sobre novas músicas, quem sabe, tudo isso e muito mais, com exclusividade para 89 a Rádio Rock.
Hey Adrian, how are you, man?
Hey, good. Wendell, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How things are going for you now?
Things are good. Things are good. Just here in Austin, Texas, in my studio, and getting ready to start touring again a little bit next week. So,
yeah. We were supposed to play in Brazil in 2020. It was canceled because of COVID, and everybody knows why. It was going to be our first time in Brazil, right?
it was going to be, yeah. We were just so excited about it. So we're excited to be finally going there, at the end of the month.
And I was reading and watching some interviews of you, and you really dig Brazilian music like Bossa Nova, Mutantes, Caetano, even the new bands like Bulgarians. So you really know Brazilian music. And what else do you know about Brazilian music? And why? How you do discover Brazilian music?
One of my favorite things. There was the obvious big, Jobim and the when Bossa Nova and jazz, were kind of joining together to make a new sound was probably the first thing I heard that was Brazilian. But in Austin, Texas, there's just a lot of musicians that turn you on to really cool stuff, and there was some bands playing like forró music and samba and all that. But I really started to get into a lot of the kind of tropicalia and that kind of scene where they were not only taking influences from jazz and a little bit of bossa nova, but also rock and roll and pop music and avant-garde music and everything. And I just love that Brazil was always doing that, making everything like that so creative. It was so it was like pop music, but it was always a little bit weirder, and kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's great, man. What else do you know about Brazil aside from music?
Oh man, I know it's a beautiful place. I know everybody that I know that goes down there tells me they don't want to come back. So just excited to go down there.
What do you expect for your show Lollapalooza here in Brazil, and what do the audience can expect from you?
With Lollapalooza, we're excited to be there because it's our first time in Brazil. Sometimes at those festivals, the show has to be a little bit not as long as our own concert would be. You only have 45 minutes or whatever it is. But we're all just so excited because we can tell, on our social media, every time we post anything, it's a lot of fans from Brazil. So we're really excited to get down there. We probably will be playing a couple of new songs that people have never heard, and that should be a good treat.
So already working on new songs for the next album?
Yeah, we have new music for sure.
Yeah. Anything else you can tell us, or are you gonna keep for your own?
That we're just so excited. Eric and I always, whenever we've done anything on Instagram, it's like we always see Brazilian flags on the comments and everything. We're just so excited to get down there, and hopefully it won't be the last time we'll be down there.
Well, I know Black Pumas by people talking with each other in bars and clubs and show clubs. I don't know if it happened in America as well, but and everyone was really excited to go to. You are going to a really known club show here in São Paulo. And everybody was sad I was canceled, so I think you're gonna be surprised with the audience.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm excited about that. I've never been, and I think we're doing just São Paulo, right? I think Lollapalooza's I can't remember who's in São Paulo, or is it
It's São Paulo.
Oh yeah, in São Paulo, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're excited.
Yeah. And I want to talk with you about the beginning of Black Pumas. A mutual friend connected you with Eric Burton in 2017. You were working on new songs and needed a singer. Is that the story, right?
I was writing some instrumentals, and I'm not a singer or a songwriter, lyricist kind of, and I was looking for somebody to just collaborate with at first, and a friend of mine connected me, and I reached out to Eric, and he came and he helped write those songs. And then we were doing that. We were recording a few of those, and we would just get together like once a week or so. And then all of a sudden, we started really to have fun with it. And I said, like, well, do you have any songs of yours that you want to work on? And he said, yeah, he happened to have, you know, Colors and Stay Gold, and some of those were already songs that he had written years ago. So we decided to make it an official band. You know, when I heard those songs, it was like my jaw dropped, and somehow they all fit with the same sound. It was like they were perfect with the songs that we had already been working on. So we decided to play a few shows at Sea Boys, a small club in Austin, and then that was just going so well that we decided to make a full album, and that became Black Pumas.
Yeah. And Eric is not just a singer, but also plays the guitar. And
Yes.
musically speaking, how much he complements what you do as a musician?
Oh, I mean, very much so. Both of us, I think it's a very complimentary thing, and you know, particularly the way he plays guitar. I love the way he plays guitar. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. I've been playing guitar for a long time, and I studied and whatnot. But Eric has a very unique kind of real honest, sincere way of playing that's very unique. You know that he can play a part right apart, and then I'll try and play it, and it just won't sound the same. There's just something about the way he plays. He just has this real interesting style, because I think a lot of it is he's self-taught, but also because when he would perform solo by himself, he had to accompany himself on guitar, and came up with this way of playing that's really cool, really funky, and comes up with some great guitar parts.
Do you have the same inspiration for as a musician, or it's opposite?
Yeah, we do have a lot of the same inspirations. You know, we do find inspiration in a lot of the same things, and we're always, you know, trading ideas as a band with each other to listen to and get inspiration. So yeah, it's good.
And did you decide the name Black Pumas together with him?
Yeah, we were texting. I remember in late 2017, I was in Seattle, and I was in a hotel, and I just remember I was writing down names of things with cats, like jaguars and panthers and all this stuff. And I just started texting him ideas of names, and then I just came up with Black Pumas, and I liked it because I Googled it, and there's no such thing as a Black Puma. So there was a little bit of like mystery to it, and it just fit perfect, and it just sounded like a cool band name, you know.
Yeah. And the song Colors is a huge success all over the world. Did you expect this success?
I expected some success, but this is bigger than I thought it would be. This is it's still reaching people, and it's an incredible song that I never get tired of playing, and I expected it to be, you know, successful, but it's now in another place where it's bigger than I thought it would be.
And do you have a favorite song from Black Pumas?
No, I think it changes, you know, because also the album, our live show is so different from the album nowadays that it kind of depends on when a little bit on the live show and stuff. So I think it changes, you know, it changes here and there. One of my favorites that people don't talk about a lot is called Confines on the album, and that one became a different arrangement for the live show, and that one I really love to play that one.
And I want talking about Grammy. You've been nominated for Grammys with Black Pumas, but you have won before with your former band Grupo Fantasma. How do you feel about Grammy and this kind of awards? Do you really want to win, or it's something you really care about music only?
You know, once you get nominated, it's you do really want to win. You know, it's especially when you go and you don't win. You know, it makes you really. I mean, just Eric and I are competitive people, so when you don't win, it makes you even want to win more. But when we make the music, we're not making it for that. You know, if it gets a nomination, great, but that's not on our mind. It's just like it's not the best way to for us to make the music is to just make it, and then if anything like that happens, great, and if not, it's fine.
And you are from a Mexican family. You were born in Laredo, Texas. That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
And how old were you when you moved to Austin?
I moved to Austin when I was 18.
18. That's because it's the music in Austin. Is that the reason?
Yes, for the music. I was also an artist. I was a visual artist, so I came here and studied art in school, actually in college, but I came because of the music. The music was so great here, the music scene. So it was just somewhere where I wanted to be, that I could make music and still be close to my family.
Yeah, I needed to know the city.
Mhm.
It's the capital city of music, live
Yeah.
music especially.
Uh-huh.
Is that true?
It is. It is. You know,
Yeah.
I will say that it is. We travel all over the world and have been to major cities where it makes you realize that Austin definitely is.
And what inspired you to want to learn to play the guitar? Was the guitar the first instrument you learned to play?
Yes, it was. When I loved music when I was a little kid. I always wanted to play. When I was really little, my father wanted me to play piano, and um I was into skateboarding and like rock and punk rock, and I just was like, I don't want to play piano, man. I thought it was like for nerds. I didn't want to play the piano, and he was asking and asking. I finally said, I'll learn guitar. I thought guitar was kind of cool, so I learned guitar. And so that was my first instrument. But I do now. I kind of regret. I wish I had started on piano because piano is such a good foundation for all the instruments, and and I can play a little bit, but I really wish that I had started when I was young on piano.
And what rock bands you were listening to at the time?
When I started to play guitar, it was when a lot of the Seattle bands, Nirvana, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, all those came out, were like the first bands that when I was learning guitar, I was really into. It was that was that era, Smashing Pumpkins and that kind of stuff was when I first started learning guitar.
And when did you decide to be a musician for a living?
I think I didn't know that I could be a musician for a living for a long time. I just didn't. I didn't know that that was something you could really do. And I think when I moved to Austin, maybe when I was about 19 or 20, I realized that it's something that you can actually make a living, and Austin's a good place to do that. So I probably around then when I was in college, I decided that this is what I wanted to do all the time.
And when did you realize that something was happening and say, man, I'm something big here is happening as a musician, as a producer?
The first time I remember something feeling like, okay, this is there was a couple of moments, but I remember connecting with a friend of mine who's a producer from Mexico. The first time he heard our band, and we went down to visit with him and talked to him about a potential record deal, and he came up. Was one of the first times I remember thinking like, okay, we can actually do this and make a career out of it. And then the next big one was my old band used to play with Prince for a little bit, and when Prince started to kind of take us under his wing was another moment that I remember thinking like, okay, this is really happening. We're really doing it now.
What did you learn playing with Prince?
I learned the main thing I think we got from out of working with Prince was just confidence. He really trusted us and really wanted to. He really nurtured us to make sure that we were confident and in what we were doing, like by really giving good feedback and all that. But he was also hard on us too in practice. So it just kind of builds up your confidence and makes you think on your toes better. And I also remember how his method in rehearsal, how it didn't seem like it was making sense what we were doing, but he would go home and by the next rehearsal the next day, everything made sense. He had already thought the whole thing through, and the way he put a show together, the way he organized songs in a set, all that I remember really being inspired by.
Do you prefer playing live shows or working on the studio?
If I had to choose just one, it would be in the studio. But I love playing with Pumas. I love playing with the band live.
You are a producer, it makes sense.
Yeah, I like to be in the studio, man.
And how is producing your own band and producing other bands? What do you prefer?
They're just so totally different. I think producing my own band, you get to kind of execute your vision a little bit more to exactly what you're hearing. But I also think sometimes working with other people is really important because you have an extra set of ears of people that with good feedback that can I think it makes things better when people put their heads together, rather than just one vision. When you have multiple that come together, I think it makes the music better.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you so much, Adrian. Appreciate it. Looking forward to see you this time in Brazil.
Thank you, man. We'll see you down there.
Hope you can make it.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
89, a Rádio Rock.